Hello. So in this little presentation, I'm talking about best practice, and what I'm using is projects I did when I took my master's certification in online teaching, and the course that I developed these items were in a course called assessment. So this is an example of using a taxonomy table where you look at Bloom's taxonomy, which would be down here, and then your learning objectives, and you link it to an activity. And this I will show you how I then put it in a concept map, and then I made a rubric. So this is something we can do in any of our classes when we are developing learning activities and tying them to our learning objectives. So in this particular example, we were studying the surgical chapter about the immune system. It was one of them, cancer concepts and cancer emergencies and cancer treatment. So it was covering the immune section in MedSurg. And this looks at starting at the basic of Bloom's taxonomy at knowledge, remembering, and then moving up to the synthesis level and finding activities that fit into those objectives, and then what would be an appropriate Web2 tool activity that would meet this basic knowledge level. So in this case, we're looking at identifying, selecting, and matching. And here was a quiz where the students had to match the 5 types of immunoglobulins. And it was taken on a site that is actually a free quiz site called QUIA. Not quite sure how to pronounce that. Then another example, what going up Bloom's taxonomy, is application and applying. So the verbs are at higher level: demonstrate, illustrate, construct. And in this case, the students would watch a YouTube video on the immune system, identify the basic components of the immune system, and make a concept map. And this is a site where you can make free concept maps at a pretty basic level. If you want to get fancy, you do need to pay. But a concept map is another web tool that you could use to incorporate learning on an online class. Then going up Bloom's taxonomy into analysis and analyzing, we use the words examine, distinguish, and illustrate. These are just 3 of the many words that could be chosen from that level. And in this one, we're looking at treatment of cancer, and they're going to examine the relationship between chemotherapeutic medication and side effects of the medication. And in this activity, they would need to make a PowerPoint or Prezi presentation and put that into their discussion board. And then going further up is synthesis and creativity or creating. And in this case, they were using cancer emergencies, and they were going to do construct a video about these emergencies using Adobe Voice. So that is an example of tying the learning objectives in a course, the different levels of taxonomy, and different types of web tools that you can use. Now, the next thing that can be done as instructors is we can make concept maps, and sometimes you can make concept maps and give them to your students as a way of helping them guide them through the course. So this is taking that same information that I had on that sheet, but putting it in a concept map. So here's where they had to read the chapter and do the matching. And then as you scroll down, it shows them how to do that and what's the expectation. And this is something that we can print out and give to students as another way to help them learn. It's kind of a short overview of any type of course. Then finally, an example of a rubric would be for the last project was viewing the video on cancer emergencies. The student needed to make their own Adobe Voice video and post it on the discussion board. They could also do their own YouTube video. I chose Adobe Voice just because it was a tool that I had wanted to explore at the time. Adobe Voice is nice because you can actually interact and make changes and have group projects done on that. So this would be the example of the rubric that was made for that video that only has 3 levels. So exemplary, proficient, and below expectations. And in here it lists 4, 3, or 2 or fewer. So there's numbers associated with that. This looks at format and grammar and spelling. And this looks at, did they use different media to present their material, and did they use APA format? So that's an example of that. One of the things that I learned when I took this courses is using Web 2 tools are great, but does the amount of time it takes to learn the tool outweigh the learning? And so that's always something to consider. So these are a couple examples of best practice that I have used in my nursing career, and hope that you find useful. And if you have any questions, I will be free to answer them after this presentation. Thank you again for listening.